Hey guys, welcome to the Phoenix Project. Today we'll be talking to the Gypsy Tattooer, talking about mental health, but also what she does with her art therapy. I can't wait for you guys to listen. Don't forget to help yourself, spread the word, and let everyone know what's going on down at the Phoenix Project. Can't wait for you guys to listen. So, what got you into tattooing?
So I didn't come into the industry as a tattoo artist. I came into the industry being married to a tattoo artist. We opened our studio 8 years ago, and we opened the studio with a concept of having an environment that was no ego, no bullshit, customer service, and 8 years, it's still the same. People come to us because they feel comfortable. We don't judge anybody. We have so many different types of clients that come to the studio. My husband's from New Zealand and he does tamoko. So we have people from all over the world come to the studio for his work. And we've got about 8 artists. So there's such a variety of people that come to the studio.
Nah, sweet. So what got you the idea of pursuing what you're doing with mental health and tattooing and stuff like that?
Well, it all sort of came hand in hand. I sort of joked about being a counselor, a psychiatrist, and whatnot with clients. We don't have certificates, but we sit with clients for, up to 8 hours a day. And once a person hops on that table, it opens up so much. You're so close to a person and they feel comfortable enough to open up. And that sort of opens the gateway to a lot of conversations in regards to mental health and why people come and get tattooed. There's so many different reasons, and a lot of it does come down to different types of mental health reasons. Also the art, but it does come hand in hand.
Yeah, sweet. So is it particularly like art therapy you do?
Well, I sort of put the two words together, and it was, I always, a lot of my clients, a majority of my clients come for some sort of reason, whether it is to stop feeling something or to feel something or to have something to stop, remembering something or a new beginning or whatnot. So it's, mental health is such a common thing, but we don't talk about it. But I find being an empathetic person that people tend to open up more so. Not every tattoo artist is like that. We're a weird bunch of people. Some people are introverts and don't talk, and they seem to attract those clients. But if you are somebody that is willing to talk and listen and not judge, then you tend to attract that type of client.
No, sweet. So what's your meaning of mental health? What's got you into the mental health?
So I grew up with a lot of mental health issues around me. I remember very young having my grandmother come into the house in a state and was diagnosed with bipolar. My auntie has bipolar. My brother, who has now transitioned from Ben to Jesse, he has a lot of mental health issues. And it's always been a part of my life. I've suffered from anxiety, mental health issues myself. I have a son on the spectrum and he's 13 and he deals with anxiety every day. So it was already preset. So coming into the tattoo industry, it was already there. So it just was sort of common knowledge when you were talking and sharing with clients. So it
Yeah,
wasn't really, I don't know, the art therapy part of it sort of was already there. I just put the words together, I guess.
Yeah, and you sort
at some
of
stage.
you just made your own thing out of it, really.
Pretty much. And I remember the day that I came home and I wrote art therapy down, and it was a client who was 19. Beautiful young girl, came in for a 4-day session. So we were together for about 6 hours, maybe 7. And at some stage of the day, she got to the point where she opened up that she'd tried to commit suicide numerous times. And she said to me, "It's okay." And I remember I took my gloves off and I sort of grabbed her arm and sort of held her, and I was like, "It's not okay. It's not okay that you say that it's okay so lightheartedly, because it's not okay. You're 19. You shouldn't have to tell somebody it's okay. Like, that's a really deep issue, and it's not something that should just be brushed off with it's okay." And I ended up crying with her in the studio. I cry at the drop of the hat. Like, it's the normal thing with me, but
Yeah.
I do it with clients, and at the end of the day, it's really draining, but at the same time, it's really rewarding to come together with somebody who is a complete stranger when they walk into our studio, and then you've spent all day with this person and you know their deepest, darkest secrets, and you have a moment like that where you break down and they break down, and you think like, shit, like, it's real. And our kids, I have 2 children myself. My husband has 2 children. I never want my child to be that person that sits on a table with somebody and says, "I was bullied. I don't like my culture because I was bullied." 19, you shouldn't have to be worrying about that. At any age, you shouldn't have to be worrying about that. But that was the day that the art therapy came into play, because I came home in a manic, energetic, just a heap, and wrote and wrote and wrote. And that's sort of where the whole art therapy thing came into play.
Yeah, sweet. So what change do you want to make what change do you want to make with that, with what you're doing?
Honestly, I haven't put as much effort as I'd hoped, because lockdown sort of happened after I'd sort of come together and thought, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm still continuing to do it. I may not be posting like I had planned to, but I talk with my clients. I have clients that'll message out of the blue, or I'll message them just to check in. So I'm sort of doing it on the back end of things. But as soon as we come out of lockdown, I do want to make this, before we come out of lockdown, I do want to make it what I'd hoped it would be. So doing more videos, and we're going to be doing it in the studio anyway. Once the lockdown is over, we're going to have this craziness of people that are wanting to get tattooed. So it'll be in play when we open. But I do want to make it more so on social media, that people are aware that you can go to an artist that you feel comfortable with and sit down and be comfortable enough to talk about things you may not be able to talk about with your friends or your family. So that's what our studio is based on. Our clients come back for that reason. And it's not just me, it's everybody in our studio. We have an odd bunch. of people. That's
Yep.
that's our term for our studio. We're an odd bunch of characters that we've attracted over the 8 years, and they really are people that you can feel comfortable with, and I think that's so important. I don't feel comfortable walking into tattoo shops, so we want people that aren't tattoo artists to feel comfortable, because if you don't feel comfortable, you really don't want to go back to that place.
No, yeah, sweet. So what's the big focus at the moment with what you're doing?
With what I'm doing now is, it's really hard with lockdown because we've got the children at home. So
Yeah.
the focus is really on them at the moment and their mental health and our mental health, while we are in this craziness of, uncertainty of when we're going to go back and when the children are going to be able to go back to a classroom setting and transitioning to high school. And we've got our own little thing happening here, but in the background, I'm building the art therapy up again to be more present on social media, I guess, because me doing this Zoom with you, this is my first Zoom meeting, but
Yeah.
it's going to be the norm. So
That's it. Yeah.
I've got to, it's facing that fear of, being on social media and being on Zoom instead of being that person that is sitting in a studio. It needs to be reached to more people because, this is our life from now on, I guess. Zoom meetings with family and Zoom meetings for a podcast. Like, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, would I be doing this? Like, I would have went, no. It doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah, it really is the future, especially with this corona being around, and just because social technology and everything's sort of growing, and it's how people connect through it. Connect through is social media, and everyone's on social media, so it's the best way of getting out to other people to show, what you're doing, and sharing your content, and mental health and what you want to spread, and ideas and stuff like that. So with social media, is there anything that you're doing through social media at the moment, like with mental health or anything like that? Are you talking to people, like some of your customers, or anything like that?
I'm constantly talking to customers. I'm really blessed with my client base. People that had come in as strangers are now sending me messages to make sure that I'm okay, which is, it's a beautiful thing. And I guess that's the thing with this lockdown and this time round. Different is the word that everybody uses for this lockdown. And it is different because people are reaching out to people they may not have reached out to before because of technology. Like you said, this is the new way of staying in touch with people.
Yeah.
So we have to use that to our advantage.
That's it.
Which is a great thing.
No, yeah, it's a good. The thing with social media, it can be too. The thing is, it can be too much for some people, though. That's one thing.
Yep.
Like there's like with everything. There's positives, and then there's negatives. It's a good way of connecting with mental health, but I think it is a big it's a big reason for mental health, like for it being as bad as it is, because a lot of especially young people, like I'm 19, a lot of people around my age just look onto like Instagram and stuff and compare themselves and, look what they got that I don't have and stuff like that. So with mental health, what do you believe is a big reason for its for what it is at the moment, like with the rise of suicides and the rise of people being depressed and stuff like that?
See, that's very, very much the thing. It's that catch-22 of technology. We have, and I worry about my children so much, more so my daughter rather than my son. Being on the spectrum, I'd love to be in his head because he just does not give a shit pretty much about the things that we worry about or that our daughter's going to worry about. It makes me so sad because I'm 39 this year. So I remember growing up with MSN. So we didn't have those things to worry about.
Yeah.
So it most definitely has a massive impact on what people think they should be and how they should act. And it's really sad because it shouldn't be that way, that everybody should be wanting to be the same, or the expectations are too much for kids these days. Like kids saying even 19, 20, the expectation is too much for everybody these days. And it does come from social media. But we have to, like you said, use it to our advantage. Like what you're doing and podcasts and, staying in contact with people. The Are You Okay thing that came up yesterday.
Yeah.
My daughter had the Adobe connector for morning and it came up with the Are You Okay? And she came to me about 10 minutes later with a sign. She wanted a sign at the house and it said, Are you okay? I think it was stay happy and healthy. And she put it on the mailbox out the front so people could see it.
Oh,
so
it's nice of her.
That's what people should be. I don't know, as a parent, I guess it sort of breaks away from the tattoo industry, but being a parent, I think that's where we have to instill those things rather than the importance of what you look like, how you're meant to act, how you're meant to do something. I think that sort of stems from school and what they think they have to have. Like if they have to have a mobile phone at 10, like my argument with my daughter is, you're with me all the time, why do you need a phone? And she can't comprehend that, but she has to deal with it because I don't understand why a 9, 10-year-old would need a mobile phone.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
It's a preset.
Yeah, you even see kids like 5 years old on all these phones, and it's sort of just setting them up for not disaster, but setting them up for that type of direction of just relying on social media to put them through that mindset of relying on social media to make them happy, but also just the process of them comparing themselves to what is on there, because that's what their life is surrounded by. So
it's so true. But then they go to school and they're on computers, so that when they come home they expect that screen time to be what makes them happy, and screen time shouldn't make you happy. and doing things that you love, drawing, going for a walk, sports, all of those things. And it's all those things we can't do now that are usually the things that make us happy.
Yeah.
So that's that catch-22 again, where social media is good, but then you're at home in a confined space and you need something to make you happy. And that's where that roll-on effect comes into play. Social media, or the kids on their iPods playing Roadblocks or whatever it may be.
No. So what would you advice would you give to parents about giving their kids their kids having social media and stuff like that? What advice would you give?
Look, it's easy to say to, parents to reduce screen time. We do it in the house where the kids have an hour of screen time every day. But at the same time, when my son was younger, being on the spectrum, having things that he enjoyed doing, a lot of it was interactive and being on an iPod or an iPad, and he could relate to things and it was a benefit to him. So I've sort of been in the, both boats. Like, don't use it as I don't even know, to give your kids, to get them out of your way, I guess. Like, encourage them to do other things. Don't just give it to them because you're bored. But it's, that's a really hard thing to say to parents because everybody's in such different situations.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because every family's different. Every child is different. Some kids need, some need it more than others, sort of thing. Like, sometimes it's sort of what they need to, it's their sort of fun in a way. So you can probably give them an extra, couple of, hours more than another child that actually enjoys outside more. So you'd rather, just give them different sort of rules rules you would say, I guess. But then I can't say much. I'm not a parent. I'm only young, so I can't really say too much about, telling people how to be a parent, because I got no experience. But
even I guess even from being a parent, I'm a bad influence, I guess, on the children, because I rely on social media so much for the studio and my name, and so them seeing me on it all the time and then saying, no, you can only have an hour is confusing to them. I can hear my daughter laughing in the background, so she understands. Like, why do you get to be on your phone all the time and I only get to have an hour during the day? And she's on her iPod at the moment, so they didn't make noise while we were on this podcast. So I should probably backtrack with everything I've said there.
Sweet. So with with what you're doing with art therapy and stuff, where do you see it in 5 years' time?
It's a good question. I'd like to see it actually be recognized as a therapy as such. If you Google search art therapy, you find painting classes where you can go and drink alcohol and paint a painting while you're with, a group of people, prior to COVID, or just doing art yourself, which is so therapeutic. I do it every day to keep me sane. And I do it not just only for the business, but I do it to stop my mind from going 100 miles an hour. But it should really be recognized as an option for people that need an outlet, because from my clients, the people that come to me, a lot of them come with self-harming, and a lot of them don't want to go and speak to a counselor, a doctor, or a psychologist, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But they come to have a tattoo, to have that feeling without doing the self-harm. So they're actually getting something good out of that feeling that caused them so much pain.
Yeah.
And it's so common. And it's not just younger people. It's such a wide range of people that come with just that particular reasoning by wanting to have a tattoo. So, 5 years, God, that's so far away. But yeah, like I don't even know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but with art therapy, I really do want to make it be known for what it is. It is a therapy. We may not have certificates in counseling or whatever it may be, but we will listen without judging and make you feel better when you walk out that door. And whether art therapy and what I'm doing becomes a thing, we'll continue to do it in the studio. And even if that's, a handful of people, that's still making a difference. So that's, I can only do as much as I can myself. But if other people are aware that it is a thing, then it should be practiced. And it should be spoken about.
Oh,
like mental health.
Yeah, because I reckon it should be. I reckon more places should do what you were doing. Like businesses should start doing that. I reckon it would be a good thing for other areas of work as well. Like maybe even like barber shops. That could be a good thing in areas like that, or even you could really do that at a lot of other areas of work for customers as well, to have that option as well. And it should be, I reckon it will, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right though when you say about barbers, and I guess hairdressers are very much in the same boat as what we are, barbers and hairdressers.
Yeah.
It's that safe place where you can go and just switch off from whatever else it may be. And I guess, we joke about it, like with hairdressers, you'll go and you'll spill your guts to a hairdresser that you may not even know, but you walk out of that place feeling, so much better about yourself. Small things. I guess it's the way we word it. Like, do we need to put therapy in front of everything, or do we just need to talk about how we practice it and make people aware that these small things can make you feel better about yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. So so with like art therapy, what's been your favorite part about doing that?
The common thing is that everybody thinks that it is. I don't think when I started it, I realized how many people would resonate with it. So as soon as I started saying art therapy, that's when everybody started saying, that's exactly why I do come to the studio, or I do go to another artist. So I guess it's that, making a person feel good about themselves in recognizing why they're doing what they're doing. So, they may not have realized why they were coming in to be tattooed, but when they realized it was, that word therapy, they did put two and two together, like that common, that feeling of, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. It wasn't just, I'm going to get a piece of art. I was going in to make myself feel something. So that's probably the most rewarding thing, is that people resonate with that it is therapy and it is making them feel better. And, when somebody walks out and feels good about themselves, like that's a good day.
Oh, sweet. So what's the biggest thing you've learnt since you've started doing this?
Yeah. You mean the
Like,
art therapy or the studio?
Yeah, about like the area of, since you've been working, like doing the mental health work of stuff within the studio.
It's been from day dot since we started, pretty much, because when I started, I wasn't tattooing, but I was managing. And part of that was we were in a smaller studio to what we are now. So there was nowhere you could sort of go. So you talk to people. And a lot of those people were my husband's clients, and they were all coming in for a reason, for their tamoko being a piece that was designed for them and had so much meaning. And so that sort of opened the gate to, making people feel comfortable enough that they can sit and talk about, a particular subject or their family, or, why they were getting that tattoo. So, yeah, we didn't plan on it being what it is. It sort of just happened naturally.
Yeah.
And I guess that's having the clients that we have and the artists that we have and the people we attract. So it's sort of, I don't think we planned on having it happen. It just was what it was. And we'll probably just continue being that, because it's now preset after 8 years. The people we attract into the studio come for a reason. Not just the artist, but how they feel when they come into the studio, to what they, leave with, whether it's just the artwork or it's, the feeling of having something that you can carry with you forever.
No, sweet as. Well, that's all the questions I've had for you for the episode. I really appreciate for you coming on. Is there anything that you'd like to share or promote before we end the podcast?
Yep, you guys can grab onto Instagram. We are the Art of Tattoo Petersham. We're in the inner west of Sydney. Or our website. So it's theartof.com.au. And myself, the Gypsy Tattooer. I really appreciate today, Dylan. It was unexpected, but
I appreciate you coming on. As soon as I saw I saw your Instagram, I somehow, I don't know how I found it, but somehow I found your Instagram, and seeing what you're doing for mental health, I thought would be a good thing to share for people to see. It's something that's different, and I reckon it will be something that will grow over the next few years. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and thanks for listening, guys. And I'll catch you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, see ya. Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Phoenix Project. It was really good to listen to the Gypsy Tattooer about mental health, but also getting in depth with art therapy and the things she does around with tattooing. I really appreciate you guys for listening. But before we end it, don't forget to help yourself, spread the word, and let everyone know what's going on down at the Phoenix Project. Have a good one, guys.